Today's webinar. I welcome Dr. Uday Kumar, Professor and Director and Research Alumni of BHU IIT, and internationally acclaimed as an expert on reliability engineering and IT. And he is also an advisor to VC AKSU. I also welcome our VC sir, Professor P.K. Banik, and I also welcome Professor S. Jayantu, Mr. B. Sushil Kumar, Director Mines and Geo, Government of Telangana, and other delegates. Today, we are having our eminent speaker, Dr. Uday Kumar sir. He is going to tell us about what is the consequences of mining in field of IT and how IT can be acclaimed with mining. So, over to you, Pradhan sir.
Engineer, you are supposed to
Hello.
Understand.
Sir, I am audible.
Okay, yeah, audible.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to all of you. And with this, I request Professor Jayantu to take over. Professor Jayantu, please welcome. Professor Jayantu.
Very good evening to all our engineering. Our chief guest of today's chief speaker, Professor Pradhan from Sweden. And our beloved students and others. It is our proud privilege. And today we have
Jayantu.
Academics and research.
Jayantu sir, you are less audible, please.
Is it not audible?
No. Actually, request everyone to mute their mic. That will be better. Actually, some people are talking in background.
Hello, madam. Am I audible now? Hello. Uday, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So now shall I talk now?
Sir. Yes, sir.
So very good evening to everybody. Our chief speaker, Professor Uday Kumar Saab from Lulea University, Sweden, and all esteemed faculty and scholars, beloved students from AKS University and other universities, and our esteemed members of Indian Mining and Engineering Journal. It is our proud privilege to have Professor Uday Kumar Saab with us with his well-known established expertise in the field of mining and IT applications. The topic is nicely chosen for today's webinar, international webinar, and I am sure it will be highly useful for all. And I am also very happy to see one of my classmates is a director of mining department, mining and geology department of Telangana state, Mr. Sushil Kumar, also with us, and with all the expertise available and its applications to the industries. Now I welcome once again everybody, and I request our Professor Uday Kumar Saab, and before that I express my gratitude for his acceptance to deliver this lecture, and which is highly useful for the present generation and present times of this COVID-19 period, where these IT applications are very much required. Now over to our organizers at AKS University, and once again Uday Kumar Saab, webinar queen, your lecture and speech now, please.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. B. Sushil Kumar, sir, to say few words, please. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for giving me opportunity to join this webinar. I know Professor Uday Kumar sir, who is there in Sweden, is well known in the mining sector and also to implement the IT technology and other advanced technologies in the mining sector. Sir, recently after your speech, if you permit, we have given certain comments from Mining Engineers Association of India to Ministry of Mines with regard to innovation through startup in mining and mineral sector that we have given. So if you permit, sir, after your technical presentation is over, I would like to say a few words at the end. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll be available. So I'm here half an hour after the discussion and also. Okay.
Okay, sir. I thank AKS University and also Professor Sir Uday Kumar sir that we'll be hearing an excellent presentation from sir. So that everybody is really benefited out of that technology, which is an in thing now, and even to, I think, to increase the GDP also from 2% to 7% in the near future or in the coming years. I think we'll have to implement necessarily the IT technology in the mining sector. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. With these few words, I hand over to the organizers to continue the presentation of sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request Anand Soni, sir, to say a few words, please. Over to you, sir.
थैंक यू प्रज्ञा मैम। सभी लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार। जयंतु साहब नमस्कार सर। सर उदय कुमार साहब नमस्कार, पहचान पा रहे हैं?
हाँ, हेलो, क्यों नहीं पहचानता? We miss you in China. China में मिस हो गया 2 साल पहले।
सर विश्वविद्यालय में ये जो हमारा वेबिनार का कार्यक्रम चल रहा है लगातार, इसमें आज माइनिंग डिपार्टमेंट में जो वेबिनार आयोजित किया जा रहा है, और सबसे बड़ी खुशी की बात यह है कि सब इस कोविड के दौरान भी एक दूसरे से बिल्कुल वैसे ही मिल रहे हैं जैसे कि आमने सामने मिल रहे हो। आईटी सेक्टर का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है माइनिंग में। इस बात को मैं कुछ जयंतु साहब के साथ में बैठ करके मैंने समझा कि आईटी का इस्तेमाल स्लोप स्टेबिलिटी और उसको रोकने में कैसे किया जा सकता है। यद्यपि मैं भी कंप्यूटर साइंस एंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का आदमी हूं, तो मेरा इंटरेस्ट कुछ बहुत ज्यादा जागा कि माइनिंग में कहां पे इस्तेमाल होता है। नॉर्मली माइनिंग का मतलब लोग यही समझते हैं कि जाके खुदाई करना और सामान लेकर के आ जाना है, लेकिन उसका मैनेजमेंट और उसके माइनिंग प्रोसेस में आईटी का कितना बेहतरीन इस्तेमाल दुनिया में हो रहा है, ये तो उदय कुमार साहब ने बताया था मुझे। जैसे कि माइनिंग वहां पर स्वीडन में हो रही थी, तो कितना एडवांसमेंट हुआ है आप लोगों से समझने को बच्चों को मिलेगा, हमारे कुछ फैकल्टीज हैं उनको मिलेगा, और जो लोग यहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं जो बहुत माइनिंग सेक्टर के प्रति इंटरेस्टेड भी हैं, जो बच्चे अपना कैरियर बनाना चाहते हैं। सॉरी, मैं एक मिनट सर, मैं शायद 2 जगह से लॉग इन हूँ क्या? हेलो, नो इट्स ओके। तो जो बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं जो माइनिंग के क्षेत्र में अपना कैरियर बनाना चाहते हैं और आईटी के हैं, जो बीटेक कर रहे हैं और वो आगे चाहते हैं कि मैं सब माइनिंग में कुछ करूं और जो आईटी से और माइनिंग से संबंधित हो, तो उन बच्चों के लिए एक बड़ा सुनहरा अवसर होगा जो समझें कि माइनिंग में कितना एडवांसमेंट हो चुका है और सबको जानने का मौका मिलेगा। मैं मुख्य रूप से आप सबको सुनना चाहता हूं, स्वयं भी। मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं और मैं पूरे सेशन में रहूंगा सर, आप सबको सुनना चाहूंगा। धन्यवाद सर। प्रज्ञा मैम।
हेलो हेलो हेलो।
यस प्रज्ञा, स्विच कर दिया आपको।
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now I request Dr. Uday Kumar, sir, to continue his presentation, please. Over to you, sir.
Just thanks. Thank you. Just check it, the slides are visible or not.
Okay, okay.
Mm. Just confirm if you say it. Sharing or not?
Yes, it is sharing, sir.
So my talk will be centered around it, and I'll be also looking to the innovation. As Mr. Sushil Baswaraj, he talked about innovation. So I have some slides on innovation also. So hopefully in 45 minutes, I will take you I'll be giving you just glimpses. I'm not getting to the deep. And if you are interested, we'll be in touch and we can come back to that. So I'm also very much not in mining, actually, unfortunately, I will say unfortunately, I'm only associated with the mining developments in Sweden right now on some foundation. I'm sitting in the research foundations as a member of the board, LKB Research Foundation, there also as a member of the board and all. So real research, our research focus is only on the AI. How can we implement artificial intelligence into mining? So that will be also coming here. I will not be getting to details of blasting and all those details of mining processes. Hopefully you understand my positions. When we think about future mining operations, there are three very key words here. Safe mining, safety is the top priority. Lean mining, we want to have the mining should be lean. We should not waste many things. And of course, green mining. So there are three things, keywords. And also trial is to no human exposure to dangers. That's one. No harmful emissions. And also Sweden has a goal. By 2030, we'll reduce the losses, CO2 reductions, etc. So this is our vision here. This means sustainable mining operation is the key. How can we achieve sustainability in mining? When we talk about mining, most of the society who are not mining engineers, they think mining is not sustainable. But what we are trying to do, first, there are two attempts. First, we are trying to make mining more sustainable. And secondly, compare and make a statement that mining is sustainable, because sustainability includes three important things. One is economic sustainability, social sustainability, and ecological sustainability. Only I say social sustainability and economic is a mining directly can be connected. When it comes to ecological, like environment, how it impacts the environment, that is a big challenge, and that is a big issue being tackled. And I feel personally, technology can facilitate making mining more sustainable. So how future mining will be? So we need knowledge, new knowledge, and innovation. That's the key foundation. And especially for a country like India, innovation is the basic requirements. Many people don't know, Sweden has been always for the last 15, 20 years, either in the top 3 countries in the world on innovation. So Swedish mining community is very highly innovative, and they are not shy of using any technology at any cost because they see the long-term impact. So short-sightedness is not needed in innovations. I'll be talking about that. Innovations can be technology-driven or just lifestyle-driven or by governance-driven. Government can also facilitate innovations. I'll be showing that. But there are two keywords here, technology and collaboration. Most of the times you forget the word collaboration. And collaboration is the key in such innovations and all. If you look at the United Nations goals, this sustainability goal and sustainable development goals, there are 17 goals. 6 to 7 are directly related to mining operations. One of them is like industry, innovations, and infrastructures. Innovation is a foundation for this. Like a clean water, mining is connected to that. How mining and clean water gets dirty and all. Like a life, climate actions, some affordable clean energy, many things are, because as society is developing, we need metal all the time. We can recycle the metal, but we have to do mining. Then we have to improve the technology. We have to improve the way we are doing the mining and all. So key is the technology, innovation, and of course, I'll be talking about collaboration. Innovation in innovative mining operations, creating a compelling case of innovations, like you put a agenda, put a proposal to the government that, or in a company to the management, to the board, that we need this much resources to develop a structured innovation. So I'll be coming, what is a structured innovation and what is a informal innovations. And India is known for this, what we call informal innovations. What we call jugaad. That is an innovation, a form of innovations. And then also creating a fully aligned strategic innovation agenda. That's for the government, organizations, big companies. Most of the companies like LKB Sweden, the LKB company, those who doesn't know, it's a more than 120 years old company. It has survived many dips and ups in the life of a mining operations. Many times it is almost on the verge of getting close, but it has come stronger every time. So they have a very strong strategic innovation agenda, supported by the government, community, and of course by other academic institutions and all. So collaboration is the foundation of this. Let's look into this. I was talking about what is a learning environment, and which will provide inspiration for innovations. There are two ways. India is very much like a bazaar, you know. You must be knowing bazaar, we go and buy anything. And you go to a mall and go to a bazaar. Maybe I should change these pictures from the cathedral because it's education I was using. I thought it will be very relevant for jugaad. So if you see the right side of picture, this is a bazaar. Things are kept as convenient. There is no structure. If you go to a mall, things are arranged. You'll go to the electronics level. You'll find all electronics good. That's a cathedral type of education. Like very structured, you don't have freedom. But innovation is in both places. This is a book, interesting book I found 2 years ago. Last year I was traveling at Delhi airport. Jugaad by it's some author, I forgot the name. Jasprit, if I remember. Yeah, Jaideep Prabhu. And forward was by Ratan Tata. It's a very interesting book. Very cheap, very interesting to read if you are interested in jugaad innovations. So what we are talking here, structured is a cathedral type. It's like a mall. Bazaar is unstructured innovations. Innovations are like that. I make some improvement in some systems, some mining. That's it. But structured innovation needs a lot more knowledge and all. And that is I'm getting to like what's it called, like a technology readiness level. This is a scale used by NASA and all major research institutions. Like starting with the TRL1 is like a basic fundamental research that will become at TRL level 9 useful product and services. This is a research innovation. So in Sweden and most of the countries, we are very much focused on starting at TRL3. We use the strategic research. Means like we don't do much fundamental in our institution here. Mining needs looking into the applied research, which will have great impacts on the company's economic health or like a societal health, etc. For the company. Company will be known good for the HEC health, and company will be known for good financial. So we start at level 2.5 to 3 and go up to the level 8. But there is a barrier. Once we do the research, study, education, it should go to the industry. And industry is going to industry, you need support from government. That comes to governance and what is the government policies. So academia does a lot of research and industry facilitates by giving the problem, working together. If I'm sitting in my office as a researcher doing research, it will never be a good innovation because I forgot many aspects of practical difficulties, practical context. So contextual information, context integration in research is a must, and that comes from the industry. And government has to facilitate this research. Not only that, let's say I use these pictures. When I do a research, industry needs to get the outcome of this research to industry. How to do it? If there is a big gap, I try to bring my research to industry, but I fell into the valley of death. Research are not reaching to the industry, and technology can provide a lot more information, a lot more support. With the new technology, innovation and research from academia to industry has become much easier. So we can avoid this valley of death. This is the like a bridge provided by the technology actually, and with the support of the government money. Usually, academic is managed by different than the industrial. In most of the governments, industries are different, and academic institutions are different. There is a Department of Education, and then there is a Department of Industry. There is no connectivity, and that money should come from some institution here. Technology can be a facilitator. One good example I can take from Indian Railway. I'm a co-opted member of Make in India program. I've been going with Dr. Saraswat, who is head of the technology in this Niti Aayog, traveling, looking to some of the factories, also technology mission of Indian Railway. Problem, they start talking to Indian Railway and academic institutions and government, technology, science, and Department of Science and Technology. They have put this money for this innovation. Indian Railway has put money to absorb the innovation, and they have also facilitated some research into the academia. But this bridge is from Department of Science and Technology. So things are happening. So we have to build these bridges and research for industry, not for libraries. That's the drive we have done in our group here, in our institute. Our research should be for industry. We can't afford to do research and lying into the library. There is no meaning in that. So, and that's why our budget is like an academic budget. We are very heavily, now it's 63% is our research budget, and 39% budget is for education. So research is becoming research-driven education, we call it. Need-driven education, completely. Now IT is being integrated into all parts of the education. All be coming to that. So our university, I thought, when I talk from university, we have to always talk about what we are doing. And since we are talking on platform of AKS University, I thought worth mentioning 3-4 points that we are driving. Advanced cutting-edge applied research. You see, the focus is on applied research, multidisciplinary. Again, if you want to develop a product, so you have to do a multidisciplinary research. Single discipline will never be able to understand all the contextual information or context of the problem and all. Close cooperation with industry and society. Everything is not industry. We have to understand the societal need. We have to understand the need of society. Because what is academia? Academia reflects, is founded on the need of the society. So we have to be always touch what is happening around. Research for industry, not for library. And our programs, we are trying all the time to center around training students to create jobs. That's innovation, not to seek jobs. Don't apply for jobs. Startups. And startups are the foundation. Like in our small group, we have many startups, leading startups, established, all are technology based. Okay, mining in Sweden, I thought this was the introduction sort of things. So I'll just 5 minutes, I will go through what is Swedish mining status and also like Australia, and before I get into the right topics. This is like LKB. Most of you know about LKB, Lusawara, Kirunawara mines, and I did my PhD for 30 years ago on automation, actually, automation of mining. This is the earlier it was open pit mine, you can see it. Then it became an underground mine afterwards, and 75 it's almost 30 million tons they are producing from 2 mines, the finished products. The main export is the pellets. Always telling my pellet is being exported. It's in here is Kiruna and here is Lulea somewhere here. If you look, the first company first iron ore production company to measure the carbon footprints. If I'm producing 1 ton of iron ore, I said like a sustainability needs this one, and technology will facilitate. If I'm producing 1 ton of iron ore, how much carbon, what is the CO2 footprint? And Kiruna mine is one of the leader. They're trying to reduce the CO2 from pellets, from mining. If they buy an equipment, there's a drive here. If you buy a drill rig, what is the, how much CO2 has been used? What is the CO2 value measure on this machine? Steel production, like tire, how much CO2 has been used? So you, as a customer, you should get some idea how much CO2 is being created, or the greenhouse gases and all. So this is one. Then Kiruna mine is also running a very massive program, what is called sustainable mining operation, sustainable underground mining program. In that, LKB, Epiroc, that's old Atlas Copco, Asia Brown Bori, Volvo, and Combient is a technology supplier. And we are the researchers. Earlier we were not there. From this year, we will be a part of this. Sustainable underground mining. The idea is to, if you are producing 1 ton of iron ore today, and this is the CO2 footprint, how much it will be next year, it will be reduced. How can we reduce continuously? So it's a, instead of continuous improvement, as we talk in quality, has a continuous reduction of CO2 footprint. That's one focus. One example I'll be giving what has been done in this aspect is a hydrogen breakthrough iron making technology, hybrid. What Kiruna mine is doing in the iron making technology, yes, because the raw material coming from mines goes to the blast furnace. How can we make a steel without coke? That's the challenge, and that is going to impact the mining operations. No coal is required. That's the, and big plant is built in Lulea now, pilot plant, that will test how can we produce steel without use of coking coal or etc. And thumb rule, per ton of steel, you produce 2 tons of CO2. How can we continue? So this hybrid technology will be using hydrogen instead of coke. So what will happen at temperature? We need a lot of electricity actually. 1 terawatt unit was needed only for this a small pilot plant which is built in Lulea, and that will be an hydrogen gas. So instead of creating CO2 using from the coal oxygen, so H2 will combine with the oxygen of the F2O3 and create a water actually, and that can be used for, that will not go into the waste. That heat generated, steam generated, will be used for heating the houses, and many other applications are there. So this is a very briefly, if you are interested, you can read a lot about it, is on the internet. In fact, LKB CEO and a steel plant, there's a big steel plant in Lulea, he and Vattenfall is a hydropower energy, all three are in Lulea, the headquarters. They all were called in the during last year United Nations General Assembly to describe how can they achieve this CO2 free steel making. So all the three CO, there was a unique case. Of course, United Nations didn't invite them because they were no. The Swedish government pushed them in forward. Instead of Prime Minister talking, these guys were talking how to present, create a, make a, how to make more steels without CO2. Okay, this is the, so this is the LKB's logo actually. Transformation in mining through technology, knowledge, and innovation. Increase capacity through improved existing technology. Continuously you have to do. Increase remote control automation and develop new working method, process, and technology. When you want to develop, so you need people, process, and technology. These three are very critical for success. This is LKB's story. And copper mine, this is a Boliden, we all know. Boliden is a very world famous, one of the largest mine. The largest mine, open pit mine in Europe, is the copper mine of Boliden. It produces almost 40 million tons of copper ore. And it is situated also very near Kiruna, actually. It's almost here, I think, you see in the map. And they are very near Lulea. Headquarter of LKB is in Lulea. Headquarter of, I think, is in Selepsi, about a town 100 kilometers. All is produced here. And how they have been surviving, you can see the depth of the mine. Last 40 years, due to application of, wise application of technology. Very good. And innovations. There are two keywords here. So like a satellite navigations, they are using now, they are shifting from diesel to electrical drives, overhead trolley drives, many things are, like Terrorite and onset navigation systems are used here. And these are some of the big machines like 320 tons Caterpillar trucks and all are there bulletin. Okay, now I'll just take a quick, in Australia, Rio Tinto, mine of the future, still based on automation, big data analytics. I'm coming back to this topic because that's a core. And then people and people and people. So people, process, and technology, or machine, technology, and organization. That includes man. These are the key. Similarly, Vale, Brazil. We have a lot of discussions actually. I had last 3 months, 6 rounds of meeting we have had with them. And they put some of these priorities are listed. Safety, they say, that's the top priority, and that's top priority of any operation. Let it be energy sector, anywhere people wants to be safe. That's the key. And they want a performance of the assets. How can we manage the asset in a smart way so that they can get best out of it? Then that is the start. They want to discuss digitalization of mining operation. How can you digitalize? So digitization, like bringing, listing all the assets electronically, 01, digitization. And then digitalization means how to use the new technology. That becomes the digitalization. Many people do confuse digitization and digitalization. They are two different things. You can read into internet and anywhere. Digitization means bringing everything, doing it digital. Digitalization is like using the processes, new technology. Like if simple example I give, when I go to a doctor, if I'm brushing my teeth with using some like electronic toothbrush, it is cleaning my teeth, taking a camera photo of my teeth. Where are the condition of the teeth? And let's say it finds some hole. Automatically it sends all the pictures to a doctor. And doctor looks and says, yo, come back. This is digitalization. Taking photo was digitization of my tooth cleaning process and all. Autonomous mining. So digitalization is a big focus now in Vale. Autonomous mining is there, but they also talk about people, communities, and processes because it's Amazon forest and all. It's a lot more problem there than we think. So they want to discuss, but our discussions are focused on digitalization of mining. How can we introduce digital transformation of mining operation? That's the foundation. So that autonomous mining goal can be achieved, so that automation goal can be achieved without much hitch. And of course, people, communities, and process are the foundation. But last but not least, the governance. I'm already discussing at length this point. So this is some example. So automation and autonomous mining system. This is a pictures from Caterpillar from 1993-94. It is still very valid. Autonomous. We have come to the autonomous machines actually, at least in Sweden, but it's still far off from autonomous system. And now with this AI and all, we'll be heading towards autonomous system. And that will be in my presentation. This is a history. In the beginning, hammer and sledge, now coordinated automation we are talking. It's not autonomous yet. It will become. Most of the mines in Sweden are here. Lundin mining, Bulden mining, LKB Kiruna mining. Most of the minings are here, these two, mechanization and automation. So now when we talk about digitalization, digital transformation, transformed asset management, IT is going to play a very important role. Not only IT, we have to use all possible technologies. And IT is the foundation. IT is the common denominator of all these actions. So we have a functional asset, trucks, optimized like truck maintenance and all we decide. Then we have an integrated and optimized. Like assets will be talking to each other, like they will be twittering too. Like we have to create a machine community, virtual mind. Machine community is possible now. 4G and 5G. 4G system came, the network, it created a human community. I have a WhatsApp, I have a Facebook, fantastic. We know each other. I have discovered many of my friends, which I never met in the last 20 years. 30 years old seniors, people working in the mine. That's thanks to 4G and WhatsApp technology. What is 5G? 5G will create machine community. Machine will be talking to each other. Machine will be tweeting to each other. If machine is not feeling good, it will Twitter, hey, I'm not feeling good. The other machine say, no, I have no problem. Environment is good. You have some local problem. You understand? This is happening now. And it's a very interesting age. How to be a human in the age of machine. These are issues will be coming. Okay? Now, to deal with these things, 2-3 years ago, actually, we developed a framework. Still, we are working on that in the group. And it's to achieve AI factory for the mining. How mining digital transformation will take. So this framework is being implemented. We divided all the technology into supportive technology. I'll be explaining what is that. Optimizing technology, what is transformative, and what is disruptive. You know here, Uber and all those things. If transformative becomes cheap, it becomes disruptive. And transformative technology enablers are Internet of Things, digital, machine learning, big data, nanotechnology. There are many things. Then also, we have to understand operational technology in the mines. Mining has to have like a how your big power plant, like a plant, ore dressing plants are run. Like you're using a lot of platforms. And then IT technology, information. So OT and IT convergence is the key. What is information technology? ERP. This, where is my customer? How many people are working? How they are deployed? What machines? What age? Operational technology. Machines are getting loaded. How machines are controlled? SCADA, PLC, program. You have to converge to get this transformative technology into that. And then also you need a domain knowledge, digitalization and digitalization. So without digitalization, it's impossible to achieve the results. This is a domain knowledge I said. You have to understand what are the government regulations. This is one very people do miss when they start using the technology. Regulations. What type of regulations are prevalent? How can we implement the right way? Regulations should be, this is a governance comes into the picture. Regulatory measures or regulations should be facilitator, not barriers. Many places, I can tell you, we are working with the self-driving cars. Regulations are the barriers actually, not the facilitators. And last but not the least, customer requirements has to be always in the focus. What are the customers' contextual information or context information? So this is this. This is also domain knowledge. You need to know many things about the rocks, about the type of machine, age of machine, what customers. Digital transformation. This is like, if you want to like, this is IT seminar, switching from manual processes to autonomous processes. How can we do it? We have to digitize the first thing. Mine planning, maintenance planning, like a planning for a supplier, but who is waiting, how much ore is needed, which train is waiting to be loaded by the mining loading system and all. So that all these things has to be digital. For other, it might be out insight from the data, which can help in making, you have to collect a lot of data. I'm coming to that, what we call, that's IT. It can lead to optimized production cycles, increased productivity. Working on an engine actually. It's a truck engine, you can assume. And he needs some information, how to tune it. He can go immediately by touch, by a smart gloves and all, and get the full detailed picture. So that's a supportive technology. Similarly, in the mining, I'm drilling. I can get all information about the strata while drilling. I don't need to get, machine will get, and accordingly adjust the drilling rates or drilling forces, etc., and inform the other machines nearby if it is needed, or inform the planning people if it is needed. So these are the supportive. They are like drones are a very big breakthrough for us, for mining industry. When I say us, of course, virtual mines and all those things. They have a lab, and these drones are being like LKB. I have an example of LKB mines. Like it's tested 2 months ago for drones for inspection of faces, drones for inspection of side walls. And this is a very interesting design of the drone, actually. This is in a Kiruna mine, actually. This is a computer vision. This is a part of our sustainable underground mining program. No entry mine, like people will not enter the face after blasting and all. So what you are seeing, this one, this drone is designed, it will inspect all the, this is a computer, it will inspect all the walls, it will, when after blasting, it will go and inspect the roof, inspect the side walls. Drone will, it's like all like walking drones also. It's like it can roll on the boulders also. It's not only fly. So it can go, and if you find that there are big boulders, you can manage the, you can monitor the drones, you can steer it to see on the side of the boulders and all. And of course, we studied triangulation. So underground there is no star. So it is used by a reference frame. It has been tested with the 5G and working perfectly. It was tested on 16th of June. It's on the internet, and company who produce these drones are Econova, registered in Stockholm, but they have operations in other country. It's a Swedish company. Okay, so you get let me see, where did I go? Now, second one, I had what we call optimizing technology. Like you buy the same machine, I buy the same machine, but some LKB, I have seen many machines, Atlas Copco, Epirox machines, performing fantastic in LKB, but giving very poor result in some of the Indian mine when I was working. Region optimization, heavy optimization with reliability, availability optimization, when to do maintenance, when to do not maintenance, what type of maintenance tools we should use and all. So this is like optimizing technology, reliability, RAMs, life cycle cost, how to calculate the rules, etc. Now, topic, more relevant topic. I've been talking almost 20 minutes, 25 minutes about the setting the scene, we call it, like what we are going to talk now. Transformative technologies and solutions. That's IT has brought it. IT has made it possible. If you look into the old industrialization, innovation based on power, from handloom to when we moved from handloom production to when the steam power came in 18s. It's a then 1780s or 67. What happened? It brought a revolution. Then come electrical power, that brought another revolution. So innovations were based on the powers, first and second revolutions. They were fully utilized the power of the people. Now then came the digital revolution in 1960s. We'll start talking about digital transformation, digitalization, how can we create digital society and all. 50s, I'm talking about 70 years ago. But it was never, due to various reasons, it was never successful. Now last 7 years, 5 to 7 years, everyone is talking about data power, data-driven decisions, data-driven machine operation, etc. This is a picture from Ericsson's, you can see. I took it from Ericsson's was presentation in our institute some 2 years ago. So we are on the now innovations driven by data power. That's what we're doing. And of course, in big data, we all trust. We are talking about data, but that's the big problem. Everyone is generating data. Some people are stealing our data. It's a lot of discussion every day in the newspaper. You will see, like Russian hackers group or Chinese hacker groups are entering any system, taking any data and all. But you see the prayer. Everyone is praying big data we trust. And we have to have foundation of IT is built around big data. Data analytics defines and decides business. Analytics will define what business to do, where to invest, where not to invest. But remember two things. Data-based decisions are not the only things. I'll be giving a counter example. And then you have to have a mind data analytics. You have to understand questions of what has happened when you're analyzing a mining situation, what has happened and what is happening. So you get a nowcasting, weather nowcasting, where you are standing, and what is forecasting, predicting. What is going to happen? Is it going to happen some accident? Is my machine is going to stop? Am I not able to deliver the promised volume to my customers? So what will happen? Predictions. So nowcasting to forecasting. But these are the lot of technologies there. Lot of vendors are available in the market now. They say descriptive and predictive they're selling. It's implemented in many mines, especially BHP, Rio Tinto, Vale is doing, LKB, but part, not the whole mine. But very few people are working on prescriptive in 2-3 years, not I'm telling 5. Prescriptive analytics will be very common. Of course, I know this machine is going to stop, but I want to know if machine is only going to run 3 hours or 10 hours. But what should I do? That should be I go to a doctor says you will die in 6 months due to cancer. I'm not happy. I'm good, you told me. But then he tells me, go to US, go to some good hospital, John Hopkins, and get it operated. It will cost you this much and you'll be okay. Exactly same thing. So predictive to prescriptive we are heading, thanks to this IT infrastructure, IT platforms. So once I collect a lot of data, my system will scan through my databases or all available databases and will tell me, if you take these actions, total risk to your business will be reduced. So it will create a visual for me in front. This action, this risk. This action, this risk. With cost. And it will also tell me what is the utility value of that risk. Because same risk for a LKB is nothing. And for a small company, it is a big. So not only the risk, you will know about the utility value of the risk. So you will get a best possible decision and solutions if you are able to implement this data analytics. Warning, I said, business solutions are not pure data driven. Like there are much more behind that. Many things, governance, government policies, and also availability of resources. This is a warning because many times you want to take it based on the data. You don't know the physical health of the machine, how machine fails. So what we call like a hybrid decision models, where you physics of failure and data, like a data generated by the context, like operating data, can be combined together. Also, like if my data says, let's say, it's a very good example I'll give about 6 months ago, there was a big news that India is going to grow faster due to conflict in China, US, and so some of my colleagues put a lot of money into the Indian funds, like equities and all. And you know what happened? Indian data has gone down 23-24%. All the funds, equities, and all. Whereas Chinese has grown up. So they took decision based on the data and information, which was totally wrong. So there can be events that will change exactly in mining it can happen. Whatever decision I'm taking to invest, I'm making this decision, and mining is dynamic. It's a very, not like other industry. I may do something I can encounter while drilling, something may change the whole thing. So we should be careful. I am just warning. Okay, future mining. It starts with sensors. Future mining will be instrumented, interconnected, and intelligent. That's our focus. And Industry 4.0, everyone is talking data-driven decision, data power, and that is the Industry 4.0. To synchronize with that, concept of mining 4.0 has come because we have a lot of sensors, we are collecting a lot of data, market data. Like if I'm selling iron ore, what is the future of steel will look? Future of steel will look at what constructions are going on. So you can connect all these things with the fingertips, all information. So instrumented, interconnected, and of course intelligent. We have analytics. Okay, develop this area of mining, but you never know. There is always a but. Just warning. Okay. What we are doing, like I said, but we are developing what we call AI factory for mining. It's a AI factory, artificial intelligence factory for mining, using instrumented, interconnected, and intelligent system. And as you see, there's a pipelines of data instead of water data flows, and you will be able to deliver product, services, both product you'll be creating apps through our startups. We'll be working. This is supported by the Swedish government as a part of the future innovation agenda. Build, and we call it like LinkedIn wrote, LTU builds advanced data factory for railway is approved, mining is under construction, and it's a lab actually. So what many young people are working, some seniors are working to look into the architecture, look into the type of data, understand the processes, digitalization, everything, and what they need it will be delivered. There are two issues here. Best available technology. As on this time T0, what are the best available technology in the market? If I want to buy a load haul dump machine, what is the best available market? If I want to buy a drones, what drones technology is available? Actually, recently we published 2 books. Actually, I said robots and drones. Me and my colleague, drones for the mining and how maintenance. Actually, its focus is on maintenance and also Industry 4.0 handbook for data factory for railway and mining and all. So 2 books we wrote in last year. That future will be here heading, and how mining people can get advantage of these things. So best available technology and best price technology. Maybe technology is available, that is the best. Somebody should mute their mic. I'm hearing. Okay, so best available technology and best price technology. What is best price? What I get value out of this money. If I invest $1, 1 rupees, what I get out of it. That's the best price technology. So we have to do a life cycle cost analysis. Technology may be best. This is the best car. Do I need this best car? Do I need the best car for my journey, or I need it? So you calculate per kilometers what is the cost it is coming to me if I'm going to make my journey. So this factory will tell you what is the best and what is the best price technology. So you start working on the best available technology and all. How to select the best available technology. What is the infrastructure? It will visualize through analytics. If you do this, this is going to happen. This will be the outcome. This is the life. Your future of market will look like this. It's all predictions, and predictions can be wrong. Remember that. Okay. Now, what I'm telling, I introduce you some challenges and like domain knowledge, artificial intelligence, and all those things. But technology is still, as I'm telling, warning. A lot of challenges are there, and some of the challenges I'm going to list in 10 minutes, and then I'll be ready for the question answer. Challenges, legacy system. If in a mining, if you want to introduce a new system, legacy system is the most difficult part because people don't want to get rid of their old. And I'm a classic example myself. I say, if I buy a new thing, I never throw the old ones. The reason not that I want to keep it. I'm not sure about this new system will function as I want. So second, my old one is a standby for me. At home, my wife gets very angry on me. Why did you buy this one? You are still keeping your new old equipments, old dryer, old this. I say, I'm not sure about the new because it has come newly been introduced. It may have bugs. So every 6 months, I have to clean my garage. That's the legacy system. And of course, my children, they say, make fun of me that Papa likes the old system. It's old. Okay. So legacy system is the biggest barrier in transformation, remember. And that happens everywhere in the company. People don't throw the old one. Many times, like a Sweden now wants to move from new technology, like a new platform technology. In all the government, they said it will cost them $15 billion to just change the IT system. But if they don't change in 3 years, it is going to cost them $45 billion. So it's much easier to borrow money from World Bank or wherever and change the system than wait that one day slowly, changing it slowly. So I believe change it completely. Of course, not at home. I do it at the job and the company. Throw the old things, bring the new things. Just take it. And second one was standardization, big issue. What is AI for me is not AI for you. What is big data for me is not big data for this technology. How I buy new things, how will it fit to my existing system? How can I make my existing system very technologically modern? It's a big challenge in railway. I know we are working, changing some parts, how to make the old one to compatible with the new one. It's a nightmare. Nightmare, I say. So one has to take a decision, a standardization. If I buy one part from US, other from, let's say, Canada, it won't fit to each other. So when I said best available technology, best price technology, and I have to look into the standardizations. How can we match them? That's the important part. Okay, human factors. There was a third listed. This is the weakest link in all technology implementation. See the irony. I want to bring technology to get rid of, reduce the number of people intervention, but it is the people who decide this one. So earlier, what 100 people were deciding, now only 2 guys will be deciding. So become more and more dependent on that. So it becomes a very challenging for a particular human. And as a human, I feel myself, I like to learn many things new. So I feel always the next new things fatigue. I learn something, then by the time I come, feel happy, then that is outdated. So you feel very tired, fatigued, and sometimes you say, what is happening? It's not only changing in one direction, it's changing in so many directions. For 5 years ago, we started what we call e-maintenance platform. Very happy. We put it on a JAS grip and fighter plane, railway, we sold it. We introduced, build a lab. 3 years ago, we found it's nobody's talking about it. We are talking AI. So we started making AI factory. It takes a lot of money, a lot of resources, but we are very good that our management here is willing to change. And challenging to pay attention to all that's a big challenge. So human factors. And I'm repeating, when living in how to be a human during in a machine age, it's a big challenge. Now we are talking machine community. How does a human fit into that? So human, machine interface. Human becomes weaker and weaker in the link. This is it's not a human. It's a LKB. It's like a virtual testing. Can a robot watch the screens? It's a very interesting. Our screens are showing the state of all the machines. Now you put another robot to watch all those machines. Why not a human? No. People say like a human cannot recognize the changes into small things. You watch a machine, you watch a screen, 1 hour, you start looking only it. You don't see it anything. So they want to put a robots. So what the robot will do, robot will see any changes and inform the human who is sitting even far behind that, hey, this is happening. Okay? And of course, there will be someone in the control room. Okay. Fourth, cyber security. I have been talking like IT generates data, IT facilitates technology implementation, but what about cyber security? That's a big issue. Why people don't want to share data? I said data sharing between 2 companies is a big issue. Cyber security, like a companies, 3 companies are working with like a wallet. They want digital transformation. We asked them, can you give us access to your databases? Answer was flat no. LKB, yes, with our firewalls. Bulletin, yes, with our firewalls. Because they don't trust. They trust that if they give us the data, they have their own very strong firewall. Someone else from Vale or some other competitor can enter the system. IT and OT, information technology and operational technology. Both have been living their own life separately for the last 50 years. IT, ERP, data, asset, registers. OT, SCADA, PLC, machine equipment. They are very strong this because they were produced by Siemens or ABB. They had a strong path. Now what is happening? We are combining these 2, IT and OT. We had a recently PhD thesis on this topic in our group where IT and OT are converging. So what is happening? Hacker from, let's say, I don't want to say a country, they enter through IT to OT. IT is very weak. IT because everyone is using. OT is protected barriers. But when OT start communicating operational technology with the information, they get a channel there. And we are working on how to seal it. That's the one area of research. Then transformation, I say, it's not always a smooth process. This culture can be conservative. I'm a conservative, I know. And I always say, like, I know my weaknesses, that is my strength. So I know I'm conservative. I know I want to keep this book. I bought new book. I want to keep this book, or even then. Then by that argumenting or debating, maybe after 2 days I will throw this book. But I want to keep it. So this same happens in the organization. People are conservative. They always fear of new technology. I see at home. Like when a new machine comes, new telephone. I had 3 weeks lying my new iPhone on my table. I never changed. I was thinking I will miss something. I will do something. But one day my colleague came, he did it in 20 minutes. Put the cloud, connect it and did it. So it depends on the people and all. The young people can do the change. I have seen people who are really pragmatic, progressive and all. I'm not. I'm trying to change, but it's still not changed. And others. Okay? Then governance, that's the key foundation. And social acceptability, ethical issues and privacy. I don't want that my data somebody should go. I'm sitting in my office working, but parallel, I'm very intelligent. I'm doing something else. I don't want my boss to know it. I don't want this machine, my machine data should go somewhere else. These are the problem. Privacy, ethical issues, who is on machine, who is working, who is sitting in the office, who is just having coffee. Everyone can see George Orwell 1984 book. The story is there. Taxation. This is the foundation for many government. You know, our social welfare is governed by the taxations we get. And now what is happening? Who pays the tax? Human pays the tax. Robots are not paying the tax. So earlier there were 500 people who were working in the LKB mine. Now only 60 people are working. They don't need the people. What to do? Who will pay the tax of that area? So what is happening? It is impacting the social infrastructure, societal values. So if there is no tax in the community, what will happen? People will not have schools, will not have hospitals, will not have good roads. And that will impact the demography of the area. People will move out of that area. The new type of people will come who are like a tech savvy. Instead of 1,000 people living in one area, one town, there will be only 50 people will be living. Fly in and fly out. Because there will be no school, there will be nothing. And this has been noticed in some of the parts in Sweden. In forestry. Forest earlier, there were 2,000 workers who were working. Because Sweden is one of the nation, 30% of its GDP comes from the forest products. Like IKEA type of companies or making wood houses, making many things, paper mills and all. And now what is happening? Instead of 2,000, they suddenly found only 100 people are needed. They deployed all automatic machines. So that area where there were schools, there were 10,000 people living, now only 50, 60 people are living. Because out of 100, 40s are flying in and flying out. People. It's cheaper. So very, very critical issues are these. Future development. I'm coming to end now. Hopefully. Future development, mobility and flexibility. I said 5G and very people know about 6G. Last time I was talking in Hyderabad about 6G. 5G, 4G, I said it created the human community. WhatsApp group, Facebook, Instagram, everything. We got connected as a human. That's a layman definition I'm giving. What is 5G? It is creating a machine community now. And there we have to see where human will fit. That's simple. What is 6G? 6G is a research started about 3 years ago. And 5G we have in our lab, tested in Lulea University lab. Towers masts are there for underground testing, mine test and all. So we are the test bed here, Lulea, North Sweden. And 6G is like if I generated data from a sensor, data itself will become intelligent. Data will know where to go. Problem is so acute, problem is so severe, it will go to the CEO of the company, or it will go to the, if it is not, it is only engineer, it will go to the engineer. So while pipelines, if you remember my factory figure, there was a data pipelines. So data pipelines will be used to optimize the type of data. Who should get the data, make the data intelligent, what form data should be presented, what structure of the data. CEO will get this machine is likely to fail and the risk to the company is this much, this, you'll lose $1 million. Or it will go to the engineer. Remaining useful life is coming too near. Earlier estimate was 1 week, now it's only 1 day left due to some unforeseen condition, overloading into the machine. This will give us the 6G. So things will, and you need IT infrastructure, IT boost to transfer all the information. Robotics, I showed you, now drones are doing a lot of work. Walking robots or flying robots, they will do. But power of big data analytics will be deciding. They all will be integrated, edge computing and all. Of course, standardization is the key. If the companies cannot standardize, they cannot create a standard product, it will never ever be able to implement. You remember those, not all of you, those who are from 80s, CD, compact disc produced by Philips and Sony were not compatible. You buy a Philips CD, you can't play on a Sony player. You buy a Sony, you can't. 1988, when they agreed, market exploded. Both got a lot of benefit out of that. So standardization, there are platforms, it is being debated. We should develop, it should be like a bulb. Any bulb fits anywhere. That should be the development of machine community and use of social media. Actually, this is my favorite topic. I presented this about 7 years ago. That time I was not knowing about 6G. Machine to machine communication. Machine will Twitter. Machine will send, I'm driving my car in a mine or let's say on a road. And I have I hear some sound. Car will tweet with other car. Is it road is bad or what is the problem? I'm hearing this sound of similar model. Other cars will reply, hey, you have the problem. We are okay. We don't hear anything. Or yes, we all are finding. So road is bad. So Twittering, machine community. Now it has come. 5 years, 7 years ago, we were not knowing 5G. But we had a vision that machine community will be created. How it will be looking. Then social acceptability and governance. How socially transformation, because social acceptability of new technology is very tough. It's easier said than done because people will lose job. 2,000 people will lose job and 100 will work. What to do? The only way is to skilling, reskilling and upskilling. 3 keywords. Reskilling them again for the new job, reskilling them in something else to take the job, or upskilling them, bring them to this level. Create a skillful labor and all. What happens if you don't do this, even that 100 people are working will not have the job and the county or the area will lose the revenue. So social acceptability and governance. Here comes governance becomes the foundation. Key. How can we put the taxes? Taxation. If machines are replacing the people, there should be some form of tax on the machine. Bill Gates, I'm really happy. He was the first guy to talk about the tax your robots as per the volume, because somebody has to pay the taxes. You can't, big company has been avoiding tax due to this. They bring the robots, they don't pay any production tax, human safety tax, anything, but they have robots. But they take all the benefits from the government. So this has to be think. How governance, how taxation, vice versa, new technology can be synchronized to each other. Okay, I think this is the last slide. New technology challenges, just for fun. If you don't control your technology, technology will control you. You remember 2007 when the smartphone became, we start talking all this social media. That was at 2007. Man is very happy here. He's smiling. But 2019, last year, we said, you are almost slave of your telephone. And this is partially not, it's completely true. If I leave my phone at home and I come to office, I have returned many days to bring my phone. I can't, I feel uncomfortable. Not only me, many people have seen, they feel uncomfortable. Because if technology, because we become slave of technology, we can't live without that. So we have to see this also very clearly, how we have become. It's like a fire. I always say to my colleagues, we have to cook our food, we have to warm our houses, our hands, warm our water, and keep it safe. If you allow total control, we have lost the whole game. In fact, I put this I actively participate in Royal Swedish Academy of Engineering Sciences debate. And I asked the Chinese, there is a benchmarking exercise. I visit China also very often, not now. I've been earlier visiting. I'm visiting faculty in Tsinghua and all, in the Industrial Engineering Department for Railway. And I asked the questions. When machine will start thinking in the Swedish Academy of Benchmarking? When will it start thinking like us, the human? And the head of the Chinese AI, he replied to me, Professor Kumar, I'm worried about this also. But we think, I don't see anything in the next 20 years. But if it starts thinking like us, there will be a problem in society. Okay, I think, thanks. I just want to say, this is a Bill Gates, I always use, should be the enough for anyone. Bill Gates says in 1981, even 640 gigabyte is not enough for us. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. It was immense pleasure to hear you. The amalgam of IT and mining industry, and also, of course, the future of IT with the mining and the problem which we are going to face. Thank you, sir. Now, Professor Jayantu, sir, the floor is open for the question-answer session. Sir, unmute yourself. Sir, unmute yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
We are highly thankful to our Professor Uday Kumar Saab. I try to just summarize, finding so many points. Either generally I used to make starting from Trimurti 3 points or Panch Pandav 5, or if it goes more, like a 7 Hills Lord Balaji. So like that. So already I have written for the benefit of all our participants in this itself, in the chat box, I have written some summary, around 6-7 points. Just for those who might have joined late, this wonderful international webinar, which is by our expert, none other than our beloved senior, Professor Uday Kumar Saab. I could just say, I want to say, for those who missed in between, who are not continuously there, so that they can respond better. So number one is, he nicely explained about the importance of multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary research, but I put it in a better way as a transdisciplinary translational research, which we have been coined already. We did it in CSIR mission policy. It is mentioned. Then we are really by Uday Saab when you said research for the industries, not for libraries or keeping in a bookshelf. I used to tell in my this around 1.5 decades of research, this academic experience, after 2 decades as a scientist in CSIR and ministry mines. So this has been my mission and motto, which I have been telling to my students. It should not be just to keep in the library, or in other way, it should not be a burden to the library without its proper utilization, unless it flows. That's why I and Dr. G.K. Pradhan Saab, he will support later. अगर अभी देंगे तो प्रधान साहब पूरा टाइम खा लेगा. So here, like a river water, it should not be stored in a pond water or a library like that. It should flow and flow to the destination where it is required. 3 point is, that is a major point for our G.K. Pradhan Saab to point out later or say something more, being a joint director of PCRA. He did a lot of work of course, we also published something related to our carbon footprint, and in several mines, he did a lot of data analysis and all. Number 4, what I could appreciate, and then we could see with the present generations is our application of artificial intelligence. And now, being in Odisha for about 1.5 decades, I used to feel Odia with pleasure, of course. Now, recently we started in Odisha by our Honorable Chief Minister, Naveen Patnaik Saab, this Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence. And they appointed very bright interns also. They are doing wonderful work. You can also see in that websites of Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence. And I am also very proud that they wanted me to get involved in the projects with that. And my PhD scholars and other scholars from computer science, electronics, and other instrumentation are also working on that. And that with disruptive innovations and technologies and introduction and proper implementation in the industry is very much required. And Uday Saab said nicely about the data analytics, and that I need not elaborate much. And sensors, instrumentation, then interconnecting and intelligently using the data also. And nowadays, even that LoRa, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, artificial neural, there are so many things which of course is requirement for the next gen. Abhi hum log to buddha ho gaya hai, and we are there as a torch bearers for our next generations. And that is the buzzword, and that is what our next generations are looking for. And this is nicely reiterated, advocated, I should say, with authority and with a lot of experience by our speaker, chief speaker for today. And last but not the least, nahi to Balaji 7 Hills ka point nahi aayega. So ultimately, whenever there is a data, so unless that is shared, as I said already, knowledge should flow like a river water, should not be stored. That has been my mission over 3.5 decades as a scientist and professor, all that, but which we could not do. Uday Saab, I agree with you, that is not being done properly, as you said, reiterated, advocated. And cyber security and robotics and all this definitely is a point to be observed by our next gen, and to be guided properly by the present gen with the experience of previous generations. And all the best to everybody. Now, namaskar not for everything now. We have so many interactions, but namaskar to our Uday Saab for making such a wonderful presentation. Now, we have with us a very good, tremendous, I should say, a very good response within a short time by very big bosses, I should say, since all are our known people, we are just like a family, from DGMS and from Department of Mines and Geology, from different institutions like DGMS, Subramaniam Saab is there, and our Narsaya Saab, and very senior, and recently they have been applying so many innovations. Even I should say at this point of time, being associated with several projects, more than 100 projects in my career now, and 10 to ongoing at present, all these projects. So associated with all these people. Now, may I request our beloved, very senior Director General of Mine Safety, Subramaniam Saab, if he is available and comfortable here, and also Narsaya Saab, and then Amarnath Saab, very senior Chief General Manager Planning, Corporate Planning and Projects, with whom I also worked for some time in Senior College long back, 86. And my classmate Sushil is a Director of Mines and Geology in Telangana, to say a few words at their convenience during this interaction, please. Now I am giving it to our beautiful anchor, Pragna Madam. Now you please go ahead, Madam, inviting these our very senior officials to say something, and then of course interaction with all other participants. Once again, thank you very much, Uday sir, and then now we will go ahead with the other part of the program. And later with a very good red color, हमारा प्रधान साहब भी कुछ बात करेंगे.
Okay,
लेकिन
thanks a lot.
आखिर में अभी बात करने से सब वही बात कर देगा. Okay, Pradhan sir.
Thanks a lot for your. I would like to just small comments on your.
Okay, over to our anchor madam, Pragna madam.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Uday sir. You want to say something, I think.
Small comments on Professor Jantu's comment. I fully agree. The focus is now moving from what you said, multidisciplinary to transdisciplinary research, actually. And this, we are working on that lot. The only thing like a transdisciplinary we are doing like educate people, like human sciences, state like governance and the engineers. They are working in F3, all the 3-4 department like governments. So we are calling it a transdisciplinary research, and a lot of focus government in Sweden they are putting on that. Like developing any new thing, aspects, you want to have like industrial, academics, many things that transdisciplinary is the future. We have a couple of projects running already on.
Yeah, please carry on.
Thank you, thank you. So recently, about a month back, the Ministry of Mines has asked the Mining Engineers Association of India to really come up with the.
You are not visible. आपका वीडियो नहीं आ रहा सर.
ना ठीक है, ऑडियो ले लीजिए ना. That is enough.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So they wanted a complete gist of innovation through startup in the mining sector, mining and mineral sector. So in this, I think the Indian nation, which has the mineral potential a lot, has fallen as low as 2% as compared to 7% in most of the mineral-rich countries. And I think there is one article by McKinsey Global Institute stating that there could be additional 150 million non-farm jobs. I mean, not in the agriculture side, other than agriculture side, non-farm jobs by 2025, which will really significantly reduce the poverty and empower people. So in mining, we have got 12% of these non-farm jobs, and if they are not properly given the skilled thing, they will be, jobless, and they'll become the liability. So in this, the answer would be the startups should really come up for really making the India to make in India, and as well as grow the mining GDP to 7% on par with the mineral-rich countries. I hope we know what is startup. So in the mining industry as well, we have got, as that of others, around 200 startups operating in this sector across the globe. There is a graph we have, because I didn't make any PPT here. From 2012 to 2017, there are 200 companies across the globe which really made out these particular startups. And what the graph says also, the startups are maximum in Australia with a number of 43 startups. US has 41. Other countries have 28. 26 are in Canada. Chile has 24. South Africa has 11. India has 6 startups. Russia has 3. Mexico 3. Ghana 3. Ireland 3. So these things actually, the main startups which we have, majority startups are in Santiago in Chile, and we have the in Australia which have got major share of the startups. There is Melbourne, Sydney, Perth and Brisbane, and also Ottawa in Canada, Calgary in Canada, Johannesburg in South Africa, San Francisco in California, US. These are the areas where the big startups which have really started in 2012, 2011 onwards, they became big companies. And as now coming into these particular aspects of startups which they do, the service to the mining industry, would be focusing on the different areas, that is technology, infrastructure, environment, finance, human resources and operations. Technology driven start provide lot of services like wireless sensor. I'm just giving bullet points of what Dr. Kumar said. Wireless sensor networks for machine-to-machine data collection, cloud networking, virtual and augmented reality headsets, Internet of Things, cloud platforms to enable machine intelligence, drones, web-based exploration data management systems, mine site automation and reporting, machine learning and mining exploration, next generation geotechnical numerical modeling, all this would come. And also some of the services provided by technology-driven startups in the mining industry would also have robotics, drones, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, data, advanced analytics, Internet of Things, app development, 3D images, CAD drawing, then machine learning, big data, software development, social network platforms, innovation, report analytics. All these things would also have the services of remote watering monitoring, water waste management, online training for mining companies, intelligent infrastructure for mining plants, advanced powerfully simply shift planning for mines, efficient, accurate, and safe geological planning. So these things would also have the services of the environment, finance, infrastructure, human resources, and operations as well. Because the IT and operations, as Dr. Uday Kumar was also telling, has parallelly run. Now they have to get integrated. And technology, the concentration of most of the startups are technology. They really focus about 37%. About operations, they'll focus about 26%. 10 on environment, 10% on finance, infrastructure 7%, human resource 8%, etc. So they would be having a lot of things integrated together. And the conventional mining, where a mine owner does his mining, needs to struggle to have the innovation that can be placed in for better production and also increase the GDP to the Indian country. So here the startups would definitely help. And as we have got a lot of skilled and young manpower, we should really have more startups in India as well, and then see that we progress in those technical directions. And as I see and heard from Dr. Uday Kumar, he is not a traditional man. He is a complete man, as we say in Raymond's advertisement, of total IT sector. He is an IT man himself. He is only giving twin personalities or split personalities of the traditional personality and as well as IT personality, who can really make things happen. I think he is the guru there. And as Dr. Jayantu was also telling, that we have become old. Jayantu, I don't believe that, because we are the generation, I mean, what do you call, limited edition generation, where we can be like a bridge between the next generation and take the whatever innovative practices that are being taught by our older generation. Thank you, sir. I think I might have been so fast because the time is very short. So I want to tell the main points and then see that what I can, express myself and contribute to the Indian nation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just, Mr. Basuraju, thanks a lot for some of the good your comments. And a startup I can add, like a startup is the, what do you call, the foundation of economy in Sweden. Actually, Sweden is one of the countries that has a very high rate of startup, may not be the mining. LKB has a, what we call like a web of a startup, but they are not registered as a mining company. They call it as technology company. At least 15, 20 we know. And in our institute, we have a startup foundation, incubators and all. So a startup, government is putting a lot of money into that, because they will ensure the good well-being of the society, well-being of the citizens and all. So you have rightly pointed out to that. And only just wanted to say, I'm a mining engineer actually. I'm not an electronic engineer. I worked 7 years in NMDC. Yeah.
Sir, I think mining engineer can be the master, including geology.
Yeah, for us it is easy to migrate than other people.
Yeah. IT modeling and other things also would be coming into. I think one of the companies which the India has as a startup that was formed in August 2014 by the name Virginia Mining Resources. I hope you know, sir, this one. Because
I've heard.
it was IAS officers team has worked on this, and really they wanted to be another Rio Tinto in India. So that was the thing. There are another 6 companies like that. One is Aranya Mines Private Limited, and also we not so much because they should only have the knowledge to impart to the mining industry and set up an office which is very, very minimum. Because as I look into the data given, Aranya Mines has started with very, very minimum investment. As is done, Veer Resources and Projects Limited, paid-up capital was only 1 lakh for mining and quarrying, which was established in May 2011. And they have become very good company now, giving their expertise to the mining industry. I think for the next generation, it is a very, very big opportunity in India, because as we know from the data, we explored only 10% of the entire geological occurrences of India, whereas 90% is yet to be done. So from exploration to exploitation, there is a lot of scope for the startups to give all the expertise that can be learned from us and older generation, so they can really make good to be utilized by the mining industry, and see that we India grow in a very, very fast manner to really reach the 7% of the GDP, which we have only 2% as the contribution to our country. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, organizers, for giving me this opportunity. Hope I gave certain points, which all these points have been submitted in the form of suggestions from Mining Engineers Association of India to Ministry of Mines, Government of India. So
Thank you,
these are
sir.
points. Thank you very much.
Now I request Mr. Subramaniam sir to say a few words, please. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you very much. And my thanks are due to Dr. Uday, who spoke so wonderfully. It's really like a dream. I just do not know when we'll be able to realize this dream, but I have a very, very strong belief in our youngsters. They can take this nation to much, much higher levels than all of us try to even doing it all this time. But I have a little bit of worry. See, we are a basically highly populous country. We with 1.3 billion as of now, and it is going to go almost up to 1.6 by 2040. We'll have to sustain on the job profile. And with a lot of digitization, how are we going to adjust the manpower? That is a very big question. We'll have to define the fundamental architecture, digital architecture for the nation, not exactly imposed by any rule or law, but we must come to some broad understanding. And wherein we can go for extensive digitization, and while also leaving a room for some little bit of employment area, because we cannot overnight undo the size of employment we have in mines. So that will be a chaos for the entire country. So this is my one point. And second point is, I think time has come for us to now really start taking off. And in this regard, our little contribution from DGMS has been very much phenomenal, I should say. Very recently, we had this 12th conference on safety in mines, in which we had an approach paper on information technology and its role in mining sector. And now I can proudly say that that was my brainchild. And fortunately and unfortunately, we have all the signatories to the various recommendations. The recommendations are only just the bare minimum datum level recommendations. Anybody and everybody is free to think of on any higher levels. But only one thing is, we are yet to see the happening on ground. So that is one thing which is terribly surprising. And what I really wish is every decision should be now onwards, it will be a technology assisted decision. Every decision costs not only money, lots of investment in terms of manpower and so on and so forth. So every decision must be technology assisted decision. That only can take this country to much higher levels. Thank you very much for this time. Thank you very much.
Just one, thank you very much for a nice, what is called the comments on what I presented. Actually, this is a big issue, even a small country like Sweden. Unemployment. If you introduce a technology, instead of, I was telling like a forest, 2,000 people are working in Sweden, and suddenly only 100 people are needed. What happened, this created not only social unrest, demographic changes, people has to be moved, no schools, no hospitals. So it creates a social unrest, even in Western country. But there is a massive program of Sweden has a social network, very strong. So without you go for reskilling, government takes care of you 2 years, 1 year, salaries and put you somewhere else. So people move to these IT companies or drones companies and all. And they start finding some new. So reskilling, upskilling and skilling. That's the only. What happens if you are not going for that, you become incompetitive. You will lose the market. So we have to balance. India has to balance this. India, it won't be so fast like digitalization. You correctly took this point that if you do, what will happen to the people? We have a lot of people who are just selling tea in front of the mines and or repairing the cycles. There's a lot much economy, we don't see it. Jugaad economy, I call it. Like not only the structured innovations, there are a lot many things are happening. So we have to be very careful in India. That's, I fully agree with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Subramaniam. Thank you, Uday Kumar ji. I think at your backdrop is, I think, snowfall is there, I think. Yeah. Okay. Last question will be from Mr. Rajnish Purohit. Purohit sir.
Sir, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity at this backdrop, and I'm not sure that I am audible to everybody or not, but
yeah, audible very much.
I must appreciate the effort of the AKS University Satna at this backdrop of the Corona era. I must say that itself says that you have to cope up the all IT requirement that too in the mining sector. For Sir Uday Kumar sir, it is a brief introduction to me that gives you a picture of the Indian mining industry, that how Indian mining industry is going to cope up the IT requirement. I am a mining engineer and served for say 25 years undergone for HCL, Hindustan Copper. And after getting the experience for that, and I just after that involved in the implementation of ERP, that too in mining. After that, I have switched from say public sector to government regulatory bodies, that is Indian Bureau of Mines. Right now, I'm working as a regional controller of the mines, and we are implementing the MTS, that is mine tenement systems and mine surveillance systems as a regulator. But in your word, we are not working as a regulator. We are working as a facilitator of the industry. And since 2010, I am waiting that what to do in this particular digitization and digitalization era, as because I had already gone to mining software which can be used for underground mining or open cast mining or whatever it may be called, or ERP and what that. So you give me a particular answer to that question. What is next? What is next in this particular? So today I have got the answer of that question, which raised in my mind on 2010, after getting software in mining industry or ERP and what is that and that and that. So 4G, 5G, 6G. So I this blessing to all those person, including me, and last but not least, I can quote that particular quote from you. I know my weaknesses is my strength. So we have to see that what is our weaknesses, if it is there, and we have to convert into the strength. Very good effort from the AKS University. I must congratulate Mr. Pradhan and Anand Soni sir and Jayantu sir and Professor Uday Kumar ji. Once again, a salute, a big salute to you. Thank you very much.
Before you close, Pradhan sir, can you say one line?
Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Subramaniam sir.
Really, it is so wonderful that you organize all these wonderful webinars. And I request you to slowly taking up topic-based webinars on digitalization. The industry is really struggling hard to make the head start. Everybody is having computers, everybody is having so on and so forth, but nobody is able to do anything with the data analytics. And that is the fundamental of any decision-making process, into which there is absolutely no focus and no thought also. It's very unfortunate, but we'll have to make a head start. Can I request you to kindly take up those focus subjects and slowly get the industry also on board into making some little bit progress. Unless until they see they make the progress, they can't see the change by themselves. Thank you.
Okay. Sure. I think you are there with us on 20th Monday. You will be there to address on mine safety.
Definitely, I am there, and my coverage also will be more or less on.
I think. Sure.
Thank you. One comment, GK.
Uday Kumar ji, last word from you, because I think your lunch is delayed. I think.
Actually, but he's rising. Actually, what I'm telling is a digital transformation is needed. And we all are talking, many people are talking, but it's not easy, as Mr. Subramaniam pointed. Even a company like Tata Steel, actually 2 years ago, I was there visiting Jamshedpur for digital transformation of their steel making. And people had a different opinion. So Tecnalia and a Spanish company and me was there. And so mining you have to start, and there it will take even more barriers are there. So TCS was there, and we were there to implementing. So it's not easy, but you have to start somewhere. Bye.
Okay, Uday Kumar ji, thank you very much. Last word from Pragya. Close before we close. Pragya.
Hello. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you, sir.
Please carry on, Pragya.
Yes, sir. It was very nice to hear you all. And from this note, I will say that AKS University is always eager to give new knowledge and bridge the barrier between this industry and education. So for this, on this note, I say thank you to all. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you very much. And big thanks to Pradhan sir also.
And this is a jugaad with safety factor too. I have been.
Thank you. All the best.
But it's a wonderful initiative.
आप जैसा बोला था old is gold. So old tradition also will not leave. And